I'm a writer, not even second or third or fourth. The first thing I am is a husband. The second thing I am is a father. And there's a time when I probably would have put fatherhood ahead of husbandhood when the kids were small. The third thing I am is I'm a man of my place and my time and my community. And I have to be all those things first, because if I want to be a writer, everything trickles down.
On the surface, King seems to live the perfect writer's life. But he's had a monumental struggle with the torments and horrors of some powerful personal demons.
When I first began working with him, we went to a bar when he was in New York, and we sat down, and I ordered a beer, and Steve ordered 3. You know, but he's a big guy. He's not as big now as he used to be. But I thought, okay, there's a guy who doesn't want to wait for his second one, and he doesn't want to wait for his third one either. Whatever compulsion is in his work all the time. And if addiction, including an addiction to alcohol, is a compulsion, and I think it certainly is, I think that's got a grip on him. And I think it's got a grip on him because he's been trying to get out of its grip. I mean, he is a recovering alcoholic. He's a recovering substance abuser. Neither of these problems got in the way of his writing, amazingly enough. But they did get in the way of his life.
I never met a drink or a drug that I didn't like. And if I could take it, I took it. And I had a huge capacity for alcohol. I had a huge liking for drugs, as long as it was something that was speedy. If it was any kind of an upper, Coke or anything like that, I wanted all I could get, and I couldn't stop until it was all gone. And the same was true with the booze. I would drink probably a 6-pack before dinner, and by the time the night was over, I would have sunk about a case. And the drinking was bad enough, but when you added the drugs, and I just started to do more and more, and I knew that I was flaming out, and there was just no way that I could seem to stop it. There are any number of ways to deal with that kind of addiction, but the bottom line is I had to recognize that I was a total addictive personality. I was a garbage head, basically, if I could get a hold of it. It didn't make any difference for me. You know, cough medicine, Robitussin or NyQuil was every bit as good. Mouthwash, aftershave, anything. If it had Ambisol, the stuff that you rub on your gums, if it was alcohol and I could get it into my system, I got it into my system. I had things that I liked better than other things, but you know, in the end, the only option is you can't do it anymore.
Don't say a goddamn word.
The book which marks the beginning of his battle with the booze is Dolores Claiborne. It features a recurring theme in King's fiction, the murder of an alcoholic and abusive father.
So what?
In Dolores Claiborne, with the alcoholic father, some of the reactions there, some of the things that I know about drinking from having been a drunk. But a lot of the things that Joe St. George goes through in that book are based on stories that I heard and people that I observed, because one thing, thank God, I was never a mean drunk. You would have liked me.
Big old smiley moon. This is just for you.
Want to see the dark side? Yeah, I guess it is pretty funny.
Yeah. Hope you haven't been walking around like that all day long.
Why the hell you make me do it?
Stephen King has made a fortune from scaring the pants off his millions of readers. But his estimated $40 million a year income can't protect him from facing up to the frightening prospect that he might be going blind.
I have macular degeneration, but it's not in an active phase. There's a thinning of the retinas. A lot of times, macular degeneration, the people who suffer from it, it's a disease of advanced age, and mine is related to extreme myopia, which is extreme nearsightedness. It's genetic. What happens is, finally, that retina thins through, and it's like getting a hole in your shoe. There's no real cure for it yet. If you ask me how it would be to be blind, I don't know, because I've never been blind, thank God. My eyesight isn't very good. We're not using these with the interview because they're fairly distorting. You know, I wear these Coke bottles, and I've got some problems with my vision, but I still do see. And so who knows? I mean, without writing, I guess I'd go on. I mean, look at Christopher Reeve. For Christ's sakes, he fell off a horse, got paralyzed from the head down, and yet he's adjusted and he's gone on with his life.
Even if King goes blind, it won't stop him writing. And as he approaches late middle age, he seems to be getting the critical respect that's been denied him for most of his writing life.
I've been in the business for 25 years. I've been writing stories for 25 years. And I was dismissed as a hack at the beginning, and I was dismissed as probably a hack in the middle. And now that I'm getting a little bit nearer the end, I think that I've been accorded a certain degree of respect.
I've always had the feeling that he himself did himself a disservice once by describing his style as being the literary equivalent of Big Mac and fries, because that is a very memorable phrase, and it was used against him over and over in all kinds of reviews as a stick to beat him with. He probably should never have said it, because it makes it too easy to dismiss him. In America, at least, I think that attitude is really on the way out.
He reads every review he gets obsessively. And he does care, and he attends to what they say. In some fundamental way, I don't think what they have to say matters to him. I think his reputation matters to him.
At some level, I'm saying fuck the critics. The critics don't matter anyway, because in the end, either they're still reading you 50 years after you're dead or they're not. Nothing you can do about that. Really not anything you can do about critical reputation. You can't sit down to write a bestseller, and you can't sit down to write, you know, a critical darling of a book like Moby Dick.